Hey, Chadi Bazzi here, and welcome back to the Top Listing Agent Show. And I'm going to begin by saying, if you've been following the last few episodes, you know we've been building momentum week after week since we changed the whole entire format of this podcast. So 3 weeks ago, or 3 episodes ago, we kicked it off with 3 explosive strategies to create your best listing year ever. In the episode after that, we dove into the magic of believing because mindset always comes before mastery. And in the last episode, I walked you through how to set appointments like a pro without sounding like a cheesy salesperson. And now, if you've been doing that which I've been sharing with you to do over the course of the last couple of episodes, you should be setting more appointments. You should have already booked some appointments, okay? Here's what I want you to think. You've got the lead, you've booked the appointment, the seller is sitting across from you. Now what? This is where most agents either close the deal or completely fall apart. So today what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk you through the art of the listing presentation, how to get sellers to say yes on the spot. And the first segment that we're going to go over, because there's multiple segments to this episode, is why most agents blow it at the table. Why do most agents work so hard to get a listing appointment, finally get to the listing appointment, sit down on the table or sit down on the couch and totally blow it? Let's get real. Most agents do not present. What they do is they show up and they wing it. They walk in with a CMA, they throw out some market statistics, they talk about their brokerage, they hand over a brochure and hope the seller says yes. But let me ask you something. Would you list your most valuable asset with someone who sounds like every other agent? Or with someone who comes in with confidence, clarity, and a plan to win? See, this is where most agents lose the listing. Not because they weren't good, because there's good people doing listing presentations. So it's not because they weren't good, but because they didn't know how to communicate their value in a way that creates certainty. See, certainty is what closes the deal. So I'm going to give you my 5-part framework for a powerful, persuasive, influential listing presentation that gets the signature on the spot. So here we go. The 5-part listing presentation framework is as follows. Step number 1 is the introduction. This is where we set the tone and take control. Now, this isn't small talk. That's not what I'm talking about. This isn't small talk. This is where the sale begins. See, you need to immediately build quick rapport. I'm talking about how to get people to feel good in your presence so they open up to you and share with you all that you need to know to guide them to make a decision to work with you. This is the part of the presentation where you take control of the process. And most agents don't even have a process. So you need to build a process and take control of the process. You need to set expectations for the meeting. And I'll give you an example right here. What I would say, Mr. Seller, here's what I'd like to do today. I'm going to ask you a few questions to make sure I understand your goals, walk you through exactly how we'd position your home to get it sold fast and for top dollar. And then we can talk about next steps. Sounds good? And that's it. They're always going to say yes. See, that one sentence instantly puts you in control. The next thing that we're going to do, part 2 of the 5-step structure, is to re-motivate the seller. It's to tap into their why. And here's the secret. People don't list because of logic. They list because of emotion. So you got to learn to ask questions that trigger emotions. Questions like, why are you thinking of selling right now? Or what's important to you about moving sooner than later? Or what would it mean for you and your family to make this move happen? See, when you get them emotionally invested, they start selling themselves on why they should list with you. And the third part of the 5-step framework is to educate and differentiate. This is where you show them why you're not like the rest. And at the end of the day, you're one of many options. So how do you stand apart? So now it's time to go beyond the CMA and show how you operate like a pro. So here's what you will be covering. You'll be covering certain things like, hey, what's happening in the market? How the average agent just puts a home on the MLS and prays, and how you have a proactive marketing and lead generation systems in place that get homes sold faster and for more money. And you want to use language patterns along the line of like, look, most agents are reactive. I am proactive. I don't wait for buyers. I create them. Now, I know this is like a bold statement, a bold something to say. Are you bold enough? Are you courageous enough to say these kind of things, to set the tone that only a leader and a person of authority, only an expert can say, to position themselves as the only person they should be working with? If you don't, then you need to go back and listen to our previous episode on the magic of believing so you could adopt that belief system. See, this is where you separate yourself from every other agent that they are interviewing. And trust me, 9 out of 10 times, unless it's a referral or a past client or a center of influence, they are interviewing at least one more agent. So step number 4 in the 5-step structure is the close. It's asking for the business with confidence. Not just asking for the business, but asking for the business with confidence like you deserve it. So I don't want you to tiptoe around this. I don't want you to wait. I don't want you to hope. I want you to say something along the line of like, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, based on everything that we've talked about, it's clear we're a great fit to help you get this home sold. Are you ready to move forward and get the paperwork started? See, that's a confident professional close. Then you stop talking, you let them respond, and you continue to hold that frame. And then what might happen after that is you might get some objections. So step number 5 is to handle objections, be ready and not be reactive. So if they say certain things along the line of like, hey, we want to think about it, or we're interviewing one more agent, or we want to list high and maybe come down later, I don't want you to get defensive in that moment. I don't want you to backpedal. I want you to say something along that line of like, hey, totally fair. Can I ask, what specifically do you need to think about? Or you can say, hey, let me ask you this. If you felt 100% confident that I could get this home sold and help you make the move you're looking to make, would you be signing the paperwork tonight? See, that way you're not pushing, you're guiding, you're helping them get clarity. It's your job to learn the art and science of how to ask open-ended questions that lead the client to the decision that is ultimately in their best interest. And then here are some final thoughts, and I'm going to give you a little mini action plan. So here's what I want you to remember first. Whoever controls the conversation controls the outcome. If you walk in confident and ask the right questions and present a clear plan, sellers will say yes on the spot. See, this isn't about being slick. It's about being clear, certain, and committed to helping people move forward. So here's your action plan after this episode. Number 1, stop winging your listing presentation, build your structure, and practice it every single day. Number 2, I want you to start asking better questions, emotional questions, questions that reveal why the seller really wants to move. And number 3, end every appointment with a confident close. You owe it to them and you owe it to yourself. And if this episode helped you, I want to hear from you. I want you to send me a direct message on Instagram and tell me what part of this listing presentation structure are you going to implement first. And if you want to master this at a high level, like at the highest level, I break the entire listing presentation down step by step with scripts, objection handlers, and live examples inside my real estate sales mastery course. And you can get instant access right now by going to realestatesalesmastery.com. That's the place where you're gonna learn how to generate seller leads every single day. How to book appointments, listing appointments like a professional. How to deliver a listing presentation that closes 80+% of the time. And how to handle any objection with power, influence, and ease. So go grab your seat right now and let's get you taking more listings starting this week. Until next time, own the room, lead the conversation, and dominate your market. See you in the next episode.